But there was something here he knew. Someone exiled by fate from a place he loved. A man thrown around greatly, or whatever multum icatus meant, thrown around on the shore and on the sea by something he did not understand. Turner knew what this was about. He finished in 2 hours. He was sweating. His father was not. He was tapping his pen in rhythm with the ticking of the clock. By the time Aeneas's chilled arms were weakening with dread, if extemplo Aeneas solvunatur frigore membra meant chilled arms weakening with dread, Turner was wishing that fate would exile the minister's son anywhere else. "You must be done now," said his father. "Yes, sir." Reverend Buckminster looked at the clock. A long look. "Read me your translation." His father quietly tapped his pen through the reading. "It's not his arms that are chilled," he said when Turner finished. "More like chilled dread." "I almost touched a whale," thought Turner. "Write a summary of the passage, 150 words. Reverend Buckminster looked at the clock again. 30 minutes. And he turned back to his own writing, probably a sermon about hell's torments, one of which was writing a short essay in 30 minutes. Turner began, and no matter if Aeneas's storms had come to chill his arms or chill his dread or whatever, Turner was determined to finish in 30 minutes. If whole empires rose and fell, continents shifted, and the earth tilted upside down, he would finish in 30 minutes. He finished as the grandfather clock ticked to 26 minutes, and he handed the paper across his father's desk. His father glanced at it. "Another summary," he said, "from the perspective of Juno." "Sir?" "The queen of the gods, Turner. Write it as though she is telling the story. This is Juno here, Regina Deum, line 9. 30 minutes seems about the right amount of time." Out in the bay, I almost touched a whale, thought Turner. He began again, starting with Juno's unforgiving cruelty, sweeping into the cave of winds, and finally breaking into the storm. Ruunt aeteras turbine perflant. He chaffed some at going over 100 lines for the 3rd time, but he felt Juno's malice as she snatched the daylight from the Trojans' eyes, and as she heaved up the seabed on them. He imagined her as, say, Mrs. Cobb, swooping out from behind her picket fence with eyes aflame, calling down the turbine perflant upon a minister's son who threw rocks. He finished in 24 minutes. He thought Mrs. Cobb's swooping gave his summary a kind of flair. "Now from the perspective of Aeolus," said Reverend Buckminster. And Turner was in the gloomy cavern of the King of the Winds, reining back the storms until he could unleash them at Juno's will. "From the perspective of Aeneas," said Reverend Buckminster next. And Turner despaired with the hero and the groaning and stretching ship, or maybe it was Aeneas who was groaning and stretching. It was hard to tell. He supposed, in the end, that the morning was about as passable as a morning as anyone could pass when he was forging through a Latin exercise.